to part 2 of A4, where we're looking at rigid body mechanics, specifically torque. Remember, this is higher level material. This is for higher level students. Everybody else is more than welcome as well. And we are in the first couple of standards of this topic. And for this question, it can also probably come up. For this question, or for this video, we're looking essentially at one question here, which will give us a good understanding or a deeper look at how they could ask you about torque. So in this problem, a 12 kilogram beam is resting against a frictionless wall. Like always, it's going to be helpful to sketch this out. So let me sketch out. We have our wall. We have this beam. It's at rest. And it'll be helpful to be able to draw in all the information that we have, the forces, and what we're looking for. So we're told that a 12 kilogram beam is resting against the wall, which, let me draw that in. So that means that we have the force of its weight of 12 kilograms, which is going to be the same thing as, so which means how many newtons are we going to have here? We're going to have 12 times 9.8 from the force of gravity, and that's going to give us 118 newtons, right? So we have 118 newtons is pulling the beam down. What other information are we given? We also see that, we're also told that right here we have an angle of 55 degrees. And also over here, let's see, what other angle will we get? So if this is 55 degrees, that means that over here, we must have 35 degrees, which is the angle from the force of gravity that's going perpendicular through the midpoint there. I assume this beam is uniform in weight, so it's helpful to think about the mass coming through the midpoint. And we're looking to, this is at rest, and we're looking to find the magnitude of the reaction force from the wall. So that's the force that is pushing against the top of this ladder, the force, I'll call it the reaction force, and that's what we're looking for. So how can we go about solving for that reaction force? So one way to think about this problem, as a torque problem, is to think about the axis to be there at where the beam touches the ground. And as a result, this reaction force from the wall is pushing against it's creating this rotational force, rotational clockwise force. And that force right there, it's creating an angle here. That angle there should be the same as that 55 degrees based on rules of geometry. If it's 55 degrees down there, this is going to be congruent, 55 degrees. So what's the torque that we have from the wall pushing against the top of the ladder? Well, the force, this reaction force, tau from the reaction force is going to equal the reaction force times whatever the distance is. I'll call it L. Let's call it of the beam. So I'll call the length of the beam. So it's called L. The length of the beam, and then also times sine of 55 degrees. And that comes from the formula that we know that tau is equal to F, the distance to the axis, R, times sine of theta. Okay, so that's one expression that we have. And if it's an equilibrium, what does that mean? That means that the torque going in the opposite direction, in the counterclockwise direction, should be equal. So this right here is actually going to be, whatever it is, going to be negative. Let me see. And then this is the reaction force. And then I want to say that the force going counterclockwise, well, what is that going to be? Well, that's going to come from the weight, right? So we have this 100, and let me say this is from the force of the weight. This is the force of the weight. Where is that located? Well, that is, since we have this uniform beam, we could assume it's of uniform weight. We would think about the force coming through the middle of the beam. So it's going to be L over 2. That's going to be the distance from the force of the weight to this, to make it clear, to the axis. And now what are we multiplying by? And now it's going to be multiplied by sine of 35 degrees. And those two things need to be equal because the counterclockwise torque needs to equal the torque created by the reaction force from the wall in order to keep this in equilibrium. So let's set this equal to each other. So we're going to have, in this case, the reaction force times the length of the beam times sine of 55 degrees needs to equal the force of weight times the length of the beam divided by 2 times sine of 35 degrees. Let's go and plug in. So I know that the force of weight is equal to 118 newtons. So it's going to be 118 divided by 2 is 59. So we have 59 L sine of 35 degrees is equal to what we see. Actually, I could take out the L. So I'm going to get rid of the L for now to clean things up. 59 times sine of 35 degrees. And then on the other side, I also need to get rid of the L is equal to the reaction force times sine of 55 degrees. And now we could solve on our calculator for f of r. So I will go to my calculator. I'll make sure that we are in degrees. And we're not. So let me go and move this to degrees. And now we have, let's see, so we have, it should be 59 times sine of 35 degrees divided by sine of 55 degrees, giving us an answer of 41 newtons. So in order to keep that beam in equilibrium, it must be the case that 41 newtons is pushing from the wall against the top of the ladder. That's going to create the rotational equilibrium. Since we have counterclockwise torque, which is coming from the weight, right? So that is right here's the counterclockwise torque, and then we had clockwise torque coming from the force of the wall. To make those torques cancel out, or to make the resultant torques equal 0, it must be the case that the force from the wall, the reaction force, is equal to 41 newtons. Okay, very good. Now in question in part B here, they say, given that the beam does not slide away, find the minimum value of the static friction between, find the static friction between the ground and the beam. So let's take a look. So we know that in this case, so we know, let me redraw this. So we have, in this case, we have the beam again. And we know that, let's see, so we have, this is going to be, what do we know? So we know that, let's see, let me just draw this out. So we had this 41, we calculated 41 newtons is, pushing the ladder from the top, which means what? Which means that the friction going in this direction needs to also equal 41 newtons in order to make sure that the forces are canceling out, And in order to figure out what is the force of, what is the force of the friction here? Or how could I figure out the force, or how do I ensure that the force of friction is sufficient? So what is it going to be? So we have here, what was it? It was from the previous problem we had, or from the previous part, 12 kilograms times 9.8 meters per second squared gave a weight of the ladder was equal to, let me do it here, 12 times 9.8 we said, 12 times 9.8 is 117.6. We're looking for the coefficient of static friction. So it must be the case that, what was this equal to? 117.6. 117. Good, so 117.6 newtons times the coefficient, static friction, needs to equal 41 newtons in order to make that force counter the force being from the wall. And we could do this again on the calculator. We have 41 divided by the answer, giving us a coefficient of 0.35. Remember from earlier lessons when we were talking about friction, friction is the force that resists movement. So to prevent the ladder from moving sideways horizontally, it must be the case that the coefficient times the weight, static coefficient times the weight, needs to create sufficient friction in order to countervail the 41 newtons that's pushing the ladder to the right. In this case, we need at least a coefficient of static friction of 0.35, right? That's the minimum amount. Of course, it could be more. Remember that you won't have any movement unless you are overcoming that coefficient of static friction. So you could have a much higher coefficient of static friction. In this case, what they were asking for was the minimum amount. If we have 0.35, a coefficient of 0.35, we'll have enough static friction to resist the 41 newtons pushing to the right. And that brings us to the conclusion of part 2. I look forward to seeing everybody in the video for part 3.